FMC.
I know
FMC.
Yeah. I know FMC.
It's better. We'll go to the FMC.
I'll look forward. There I'll meet the wife of my cousin.
Okay.
I think it's one of the.
This is serious.
So that's if you say extend interim order, as interim order elapsed with time. You know, if they had issued a fresh interim order, it's a different thing.
Yes.
You understand? I say, see what we are reading now. You don't read this thing to where some of us are. They don't extend interim order. If it expires within 1 week or two, you should have issued another order.
Yes. Party.
You know, so they kept that letter. They kept that thing they posted to them.
Okay.
That they say, whether do I know that I should this thing they can prosecute me about? I say, well, it is the same court that granted this order that can institute a contempt charge.
Yes.
You know, you can't just now start prosecuting me. My brother.
They were beating you.
They beat me. God must have taken extra time to create me. Ordinarily, kind of beating.
And the video you just saw there is the video of the NLC President Joe Ajaero. Well, update is that he is indeed recuperating and indeed getting back to his feet, although he's still traumatized. In follow-up to that video, the Imo State government has washed its hands clean concerning the arrest of President of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Comrade Joe Ajaero. Well, let's just say this, that Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Honorable Declan Emelumba, said that those accusing the government of arresting the NLC president were perennial mischief makers, always crying wolf where there is none. The commissioner recalled that the purported strike in the state had been stopped by the National Industrial Court in Owerri, which actually makes the planned action very illegal. Well, to discuss this further, let's bring in Nnaemeka Obiaraeri. He is indeed a public affairs and political analyst. He joins us this morning. Thank you so much for being here this morning. All right, we'd like you to unmute if you haven't done so we can carry on with this conversation. But first of all, great, we can hear you. We can hear you now. Earlier on in the first hour, we did speak with Comrade Callistus, who indeed told us that this is the situation of things yesterday, breaking it down that it was the police who were indeed involved in the alleged beating of the NLC president. And not too long ago, a few hours later, the police indeed exonerated itself, including the Imo State government. But as we speak now, you are from Imo State. Help us make sense of these allegations of intimidation ahead of the gubernatorial polls in Imo State, because we do understand the Labour Party secretariat in the state was equally vandalized some time ago. We spoke about it here.
This has been the story of Imo State since January 14, 2020. I am from Imo State. I am not surprised of what happened. For the first time in the history of Nigeria, not even under the Obiaraeri regime, was an NLC president brutalized, abused, and abducted. This is not the first time that Joe Ajaero had led NLC and TUC on a march. They marched in Abuja under the Tinubu regime. Tinubu, as the commander-in-chief, did not for one day send police or thugs to attack Joe Ajaero. But just like everything in Imo State, the violent APC government in Imo State did the unthinkable. You know, it is one thing for the governor and his aides to deny. The NLC came out with a press statement, a press release yesterday. They mentioned names. They mentioned the names of the SA to the governor, one Chinasa Obiaraeri. They mentioned one Tape and one Mode as those that led the hoodlums to attack the NLC members, supervised by the police. This is not the first time these names have been mentioned and attached to violence, arson, and murder in Imo State. Ugo Chinyere Ikenga, a member of the House of Rep, his house was burnt and destroyed, lives lost. He also mentioned these names. It's obvious they are untouchable. It's obvious that nothing can be done. It's obvious that the police in collusion with what had happened. See, it is not the first time. Even I, as a person, I have been threatening even one of the SAs to the governor, one Madike. I'm on live TV, I know the implication. I have receipts. They threatened that they would behead me in the street of Owerri. What was the offense? for asking the government of Imo State to explain how they spend the over 400 billion naira they collected from JAC, FAC, and borrowings and IGR over the last 4 years. That is the level of impunity, that is the level of toxicity, that is the level of intolerance that we have experienced in Imo State. Never in the history of Imo State, since the advent of the Fourth Republic from 1999 till now, have we experienced the kind of banditry, the kind of insecurity, the kind of criminality, the kind of impunity that we are experiencing under this group of the man-led APC government in Imo State. It is one thing for them to deny. NLC secretary and the team, they've come out openly to narrate what happened. Supervised by the police, they narrated, they mentioned names. It is left for the police in Abuja, especially the IG of police, to swing to action and arrest those that are mentioned, take them to Abuja, and get to the root of this matter. We are not in a fascist government. We are not in a military junta. We are in a democracy. And what was the essence of the protest? The workers in Imo State have been so abused. They are being poor salaries. Pensioners have not been paid. Everything is going down. And the only way the government could respond was to unleash mayhem on the innocent workers who were barely demanding for their rights. The same NLC and TUC marched in Abuja. President Tinubu invited them for discussions, and they reached an agreement and they signed it off. What stopped the governor of Imo State, from inviting the members of NLC? There was an agreement that was signed in 2019 and 2021. He refused to implement those agreements. You know, it is high time Imo, Imo, and every other Igbo person out there to come out openly to stop the madness that is going on in Imo State. See, I am very, very sure once I leave your studio now, I will receive phone calls, I will receive messages. But that is what they do. Intimidation, threat to life. They try to stamp out everybody. The insecurity in Imo State is very deliberate. It is so deliberate. Once there is atmosphere of chaos, once there is atmosphere of insecurity, they will stampede people out of the state. That is the only way they will be able to do what they know how to do best. Rig elections, carry ballot boxes, kill and destroy, and then put themselves back to power.
All right, let's talk about the elections coming up. We have elections in a few days. Hope Uzodinma, of course, has come under fire by a number of people. They have been moved to remove him as governor. The Supreme Court has shifted hearing of that to the 5th of December. What are your thoughts for how the elections will play out in Imo State? Do you also nurse fears about insecurity taking center stage at the election?
Let me tell you, see, there is palpable fear in Imo State. It's even alleged they are bringing in talks. You saw what was circulated last time in the social media. The Commissioner for Tourism wrote to all the hotels in Imo State to book all the rooms. He didn't deny it. What was the essence? To deny election monitors opportunity to have accommodation to monitor the election. Let me tell you, under a free, fair, and credible election, there is no sane person, no rational person from Imo State that will vote for the APC. That is a known fact. You are a news media. Take out time to go to Imo State and conduct a poll. You can do that even next week. Conduct a poll of Imolites. You will see the outcome of that poll. Basically, what they are preparing is to intimidate. I want to use this medium to appeal to President Bola Tinubu. It does not matter the fact that the government is on the APC. The Commissioner of Police, the DSS, every one of them, they will, in fact, if they truly want this democracy to thrive, all the people involved, the Commissioner of Police, even the right in Imo State, they should take out steps to remove all of them and bring in fresh people. Election monitors must be allowed to monitor the election. This election must be free, fair, and credible. Of course, there are many parts of Imo State where elections will not hold, just like it didn't hold in February 25th and March 18th. Also, they are preparing to write results. On February 25th and March 18th, I come from a place called Amagi Hubokigwe. No election was held anywhere in any of the 21 polling booths in that world. I remember 7 was. But 39,000 votes were manufactured in a local government area that never for once recorded anything more than 20,000 votes since the advent of democracy. And that election, that results were upheld and is still holding today. So basically, the federal government of Nigeria owes Imo. President Tinubu owes Imo. Please, that message. of allowing elections in Imo State to be free, credible, and to be fair. That is the only way Imo State can be rescued. If not, I am sorry to say this, allowing the APC-led government of Hope to continue beyond next year is turning Imo State into Yemen.
Well, some have said that the attack on the NLC president and, of course, some of its members, it's a key statement to all the indigents of the state on what is coming, especially at the circle elections. What's your thought on that?
See, let me tell you, there is no one who is from Imo State who do not know what the regime in Imo State represents. In 3 words, they represent anarchy, chaos, illegitimacy, violence, death, and mission. There's no time in the history of Imo State, not even during the Civil War, have we lost so much lives and properties to the activities of non-state actors, the unknown gunmen, and those criminals masquerading as freedom fighters, and the state-sponsored anarchists. On public, if you Google it, you see it. Asali Dokubo, one of the militants from Niger Delta, openly posted that he was invited in Imo State to come and burn and to kill and to take care of things. Asali is not a member of the police or army or DSS. Till today, nobody has invited him, nobody has prevented him. There's nobody in the state government that come out to deny what Asali said. That is what has become the story of Imolites. Where I come from, my community, there is no anybody who is staying in my community are destitutes who have nowhere to go. Every other person that has means of living are threat out of the community because of insecurity. The governor of the state, who is the chief security officer, have not visited any of these communities for 1 day. And that is the kind of impunity. He spends most of his time in Abuja, guarded by armored cars and everything. The Labour Party governorship candidate spent his personal money, invited us to repair armored personnel carriers for the police, to protect the police and help them to protect Imo State. Most of those armored personnel carriers were used and diverted, allegedly used and diverted to rig elections of March 18 in Imo State. Till today, nobody was arrested, nobody was prosecuted. Let me tell you, even the governor even boasted on telling that nobody can take away power from him. He even said it, the one he's holding, he will do everything to make sure that he retains it. This is not democracy. Democracy is government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And for crying out loud, if we want this democracy to work, the federal government of Nigeria, they owe it to Imo, and to the many lives that have been lost, to the many innocent blood that have been shed. The only way to restore security in Imo State and in Southeast in general is for elections to be free, fair, and credible. Tinubu owes us that grace and mercy. We beg him in the name of God. We beg him in the name of our ancestors. We beg him in the name of MKO Abdullah, the matter of democracy, to please ensure that the elections of November 11, 2023 is free, fair, and credible. And the only way you can ensure it is to ensure that the Commissioner of Police, the DSS Director General, the REC, and all those who are in Imo State have been fully compromised and removed. A new set of people brought in, and he must monitor that election personally. It's very, very important.
All right, now let's talk about the NLC, the strength and the weight of the influence that the NLC wields. Now, we must mention, first of all, that we in no way, shape, or form applaud, endorse, or support the way in which Joe Ajaero was treated. No human being should be assaulted in that manner. Now, that being said, let's talk about the influence of the NLC. Some have said that this action has shown that indeed the NLC no longer wields as much influence as it formerly did. So I'd like you to talk to us about the NLC. Some have accused the NLC of washing hands with the government and sitting with the government in occasions where they ought to have stood and spoken up. They've accused the NLC of calling strikes, not being able to follow through because the government has called them to closed-door meetings and in some cases maybe sort of found a way to appease them rather than prioritizing the needs of the majority of Nigerians. So what would you say is your take on the strength and the influence of the NLC, as well as how they have, discharged their duties of holding the government to account?
The influence of NLC, unfortunately, has been so watered down. It is no longer what it used to be, like in the days of Adams, Oshomole, and the others. But that is not to take away the fact that Joe Ajaero is one fearless, one incorruptible, one honest guy who is leading that organization. I am one person that have taken time. I've many times lampooned the NLC for not living up to what they are supposed to do. I expected NLC to march out on the streets and protest the allocation of 160 million naira vehicle to each of the National Assembly members. I expected them to come out openly swinging against it. I expected NLC to come out condemning most of their members who are workers in the refineries for 8 years, collecting salaries of 67 billion annually without fixing those refineries. Yes, in as much as I've condemned NLC, that does not take away the fact that under a terrorist regime where life is brutish, where people can easily be killed without consequences, even members of NLC should fear for their lives. Like what has happened to Ajaero is an example. Let us also not lose the fact that this is a democracy. People have the right to protest. People have the right to complain. And the workers have a right to complain. You cannot owe a worker 7 years salary. You cannot owe 7 months salary. You cannot owe a worker pension liability and expect them not to protest. This NLC demonstrated in Abuja. Tinubu did not hurt them. As a Democrat, President Tinubu invited them for discussion. What gives the governor of Imo State or his agent that you have mentioned the right, the temerity to hurt members of the NLC, supervised by the police? That is how terrible. The other day we saw the video of Governor of Rivers State, Fubara, being tear gassed and cannon water gun by police, a sitting executive governor. And nobody has been arrested, nobody has been sacked, nobody. We are not in a lawless society for crying out loud. Yes, NLC have their fault, but in the case of Imo State, they are right. Every worker deserves his pay. By the way, how much are we even talking about here? Imo State have not fully implemented the 18,000 minimum wage. Talk less of the 35,000 the federal government is already pronouncing. In today Nigeria, there is no civil servant that can live honestly within 100,000 naira a month. Yet, the little they are being paid, the stipend and the poverty poisoning stipend that are being paid are not being paid to them. That is inhumanity. That is callous, that is wicked, that is evil. And every Nigerian will stand up to condemn this.
All right.
The APC government leaders have become too roguish and banditry for all anybody can care to think about. It is very, very unfair. This is a democracy, and President Tinubu must help Ndimo. He must help us. It is very, very important that he must come out openly to help Imo State.
All right.
And if Imo State is not rescued on November 11th, I feel sorry for the rest of the Southeast.
All right.
Thank you so much, Nnaemeka Obiaraeri, for your points. Most importantly, we hope to see what will unfold, especially following through the incidents that took place yesterday and what is indeed happening from today and going forward. We look forward to have you join us again in our subsequent programs as well. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.